You know, and I like these for different kinds of things. You know, I'm an abstract person. I'm looking always for tools. Silverpoint in a nutshell is drawing with metal on prepared paper. I have taken this technique and explored many possible directions. I never realized when I began working in this medium that it was going to be my life's medium. It's a little overwhelming to have all my work together. The show begins with some of my earliest drawings in Metalpoint. It's an Orchid and Other Flowers series. The one thing about Metalpoint is that the metal's tarnished, silver and copper, brass, etc. I discovered that there was a small green area here. And that is an unusual tarnishing on this particular paper of copper. It's the mystery of Silverpoint. I know a lot about this medium. I make a drawing and I use many metals and I think I know what's going to happen. However, I don't. I don't consider the piece damaged at all. It's just the work evolved in its own manner. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
After my Orchid series, I began to want to draw what was behind the flower. And we have it's a combination of fire and smoke and metal point and wax. There is something about taking a very precious technique, very precise, very traditional, and then doing the exact opposite. And so I went back to the more abstract drawings that preceded the burning work and but in this time, now I'm adding color, I'm adding acrylic, I'm adding watercolor, and the addition of gold leaf. And I taught myself how to use gold leaf, the same way I taught myself how to use Silverpoint. This piece is called Poplar 13, Homage to Monet. I fell in love with Monet's poplar paintings. And there's a particular piece in the Metropolitan Museum that I just adore. Later on, I began a series, and this is indirectly inspired by the Monet poplar paintings. I took sections. You could almost see it happening. It's as if I took this small area here and turned it into this. You can see something's going on. I'm getting wilder. I'm getting more abstract. I'm just having the best time. After working for about 15 years on the Strata series. It's the series most people know my work for. In the early 90s, like around 94 or 93. And the way I was holding my tools and the way I was pressing on the paper, and these were all freehand done works, my doctor said I had to change my work. And I said, no, give me more injections, give me something, I can't do that. But eventually I began to have some other ideas. There is a real relationship between the Strata series and what I've evolved. And initially I did the works freehand, but then I began to think it needed a straight edge. I was familiar with very precise drafting. I trained as a graphic designer when I was young in art school. This is one of the most recent works in the show, my harmonization series, using all small 36 squares with one empty. I have done a series of artist books, some by myself and some in collaboration with my husband, Martin Boykin, who's here with us today. This particular project called Nocturne, the way we've collaborated is Marty would write the music and we'd get a rough tape of it, and then I would have the idea of the format, and then I would start to not illustrate the music, but to relate something to the music. And the piece kind of gets a little more complicated and then it kind of gets quiet again. And that is about the closest that I'm illustrating the piece. You know, you can't show everything that you've ever made. And that's what this show is giving me the opportunity to do. It's exciting and humbling all at the same time to see this here, and I'm thrilled.